Welcome, Colorado. My name is Tim Caffrey, executive producer and your host for today's show. In a recent report by the Economic Policy Institute titled, "The Class of 2014, the weak economy is idling too many young graduates," it states, for young high school graduates, the unemployment rate is 22.9%, and the underemployment rate is 41.5%. Is college the answer? Perhaps. But in another report by the Institute for College Access and Success, it states nationally, college graduates who borrowed for bachelor's degrees granted in 2012 had an average student loan debt of $29,400. In Colorado, 52% of college graduates had an average debt of $24,540. But what if you could learn a professional trade while being paid? In other words, graduate debt-free. My next guest will be discussing with me how this apprenticeship program can do just that. That's next on The Tim Caffrey Show. Joining me now is Dan Hendricks, training coordinator for the apprenticeship program for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 68 here in Denver, Colorado. Welcome, Dan, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much, Tim. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. Dan, many of our viewers may be unfamiliar with the apprenticeship idea. So can you give us an overview of what it is, and then how does it compare to college?
Tim, I really see an apprenticeship as an alternative to college.
Okay.
Now, we've all known those people in high school or in other parts of our lives that they just weren't a fit for college. Okay. An apprenticeship is a way for them to get their training, get their education, and make a nice living for themselves and their family and not have to go to college.
Okay.
We have one gentleman right now in the program. He was originally from Haiti, immigrated at a very young age. Got here to the States. He was told he had to go to college if he was ever going to make anything of himself. So he started a college in Missouri. And as he's going through the college, all he sees really is the mounting debt. Mm-hmm. He can't see where this is going to profit him at all in the long run.
Sure.
So he quit college and he came into the trades and he's never looked back. He's enjoyed every minute of it because college just wasn't for him. And there are those people, I mean, we push and we push and we push this college ideal,
yes,
but it's not made for some people. There are some people who get into college and are doing fine and think that's the way they're going to go, and they find out that they need a little more. We have an apprentice who just turned out, just completed the apprenticeship. He was in the School of Mines pursuing his electrical engineering degree.
Oh, wow.
They told him that he needed some intern hours, some hands-on type of experience to go with his degree. So he sought out the apprenticeship thinking, I'll just do this for a while, get my experience, get back to where I was in college and finish my degree. Well, he got into the apprenticeship and he's turned out, and maybe he'll go back to college and finish that degree, but he doesn't really see any pushing need to do so. He's got a good trade, he's got a good career. I happen to know that as soon as he turned out, they made him a foreman on that project, so he's doing really well.
Oh.
And does he need to go back to college? No. Could he? Absolutely. Now, as far as an apprenticeship compared to a college, in an apprenticeship, you're going to receive specific training for a career.
Okay, sure.
Now, college is not bad. I don't want to put college down or the education that you get there, but it is pretty diverse, and it's not going to put you on a specific career path generally.
Right. Yes.
Whereas in the apprenticeship, and our apprenticeship especially, you're going to learn to be an electrician.
Okay.
And in 4 years, you're going to be an electrician. In college, maybe in 4 years, maybe in 6, maybe never. You may have your degree and never use it in the career that you eventually choose. But in the apprenticeship, in 4 years, you will be an electrician. Okay? And this career, I mean, it can take you anywhere. So, I mean, we don't only use electricity here in the United States.
Right, yes.
Or in Colorado. So if, you know, times turn tough, as they have before here in Colorado, maybe you go to California and you work as an electrician there. Maybe you go to New York. Maybe you go to Hong Kong. You know, depending on where you can take your skills, where you are willing to go, you can use these skills anywhere.
Wow, that's exact.
Now our apprentices, I mean, they will work 40 hours a week on the job as an electrical apprentice working under a journeyman electrician for one of our contractors. They'll go to school 2 nights a week, so it's a bit of a commitment on their part.
Okay, sure.
You know, but like I say, in 4 years, they're done. They have their career and they have their career path.
Oh, wow, that's excellent. Now, as I said in the stated in the opening, that you can come out of this program debt-free. So explain that they're earning a salary or a wage while they're going through this. Explain what you mean by that.
Oh, absolutely. As they are working as an apprentice, they are receiving a paycheck.
Okay.
I mean, they make an hourly wage.
Okay.
Just as any other worker would. I mean,
Sure.
we're not talking unpaid interns here.
Okay.
We don't do that sort
Right.
of thing.
Okay.
Okay. It is an entry level position. They will start from zero, you know, and learn to be an electrician, but they are getting paid. Now, we do have a registration fee for the apprenticeship.
Okay.
I mean, it's a small registration fee, but when you're talking starting a job that's roughly between wages and benefits, $40,000 a year.
Wow.
You know, their small registration fee is really a really good return on investment.
Okay.
I mean, they'll spend maybe $2,750 throughout this apprenticeship for registration fees, and when they turn out, they have a job that's worth maybe $80,000 a year.
Wow, that's excellent. Now, real quickly, I want to go over the part of that. Now, you say graduates can get some college credit. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
When they complete the apprenticeship, they'll have 36 hours towards an associate's degree,
Okay.
which is more than halfway there.
Yeah.
Now, they take that bit of college credits. They take those college credits. They may work as a journeyman for a while. They may be moved up to foreman, general foreman. Now, after that, do they want to go into project management? Do they want to go work in the office? Do they want to be an estimator? You know, at that time, they may take those college credits, go back, get their degree, and go start working in the office. We have one gentleman, Rick Schwartz, went through this apprenticeship and worked as a journeyman for a while, worked his way up in the company, went back, got his college. Now he's the president of MYR, one of the largest electrical contractors in the world. I would say the United States, but I'm pretty sure it's the world now.
Sure.
And he started here in the apprenticeship.
That's amazing.
And worked his way up. You can go anywhere with this training.
Wow, that's incredible. Dan, got to take a short break
Sure.
right now. We're going to take a short break right now. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. I'm speaking with Dan Hendricks, the training coordinator for the apprenticeship program at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 68. Dan, in this segment, what I want to talk about, and you and I talked about this earlier, about a lot of high school counselors are so fixated and focused on getting the college readiness that they don't really look at anything other skills. So if you can kind of understand, kind of explain the skills that an electrical apprentice will get through this program.
Yep. You know, the most important thing for an apprentice as they leave an apprenticeship program or any program is their employability. Now, an apprentice in our program, they will learn all facets of the electrical field.
Okay.
They're going to learn voice data video. They're going to learn fire alarm control, building management, power distribution. They're going to learn how to bend conduit, I mean, and all of these things will help you to be employable on the job.
Sure.
Now, let's look at the Gaylord Hotel that they're going to build out in Aurora. Now, at the beginning of that job, they're going to need people there who can lay the conduit, pull the main feeder wires, put in the main distribution systems. Then they're going to move into, more conduit bending and transformers, hooking up three-phase transformers. They're going to be starting, pulling in the lighting and the switching. And at the end, they're going to have somebody who hooks up all the pumps and the motors and things of that nature for the whole hotel. And at the very end, they're going to need somebody to come in and put in the receptacles and the switches and the faceplates. And our apprentices learn all of that. So no matter what phase of the job they may be put on, they can perform. And this carries through as a journeyman. I mean, if you limit yourself to learning one phase of the electrical field, they're going to use you for that one phase and then send you down the road.
Yeah, good point.
So you want to be able to stay on that job from beginning to end and be able to perform. Now, as I was saying, I mean, we take these skills with us wherever we go.
Right.
And at the end of each curriculum year, not only have we taught the apprentices the skills they need, but we evaluate them. We will put them in our craft certification booth, and we will give them a set of prints and some specifications to build out a job, and we'll give them 2 hours to perform that job.
Oh, okay.
Now, if they haven't gained the amount of knowledge they need to perform at that level, we'll retrain them. Okay. But we do hold them up for a little bit until they have the knowledge they need. We're not going to turn anybody out of this program until they are ready to be a journeyman. Now, journeyman electricians, they demand a pretty good wage. Between their wages and benefits, as I was saying, it's about an $80,000 a year job.
Wow.
I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's a good living.
That's incredible.
But they need to have the skills to demand that wage.
Sure.
Now, and these skills are transferable. We've had apprentices, as soon as they turn out, go to Spain to build an embassy there with one of our contractors.
Sure.
And we've had some, and a bit of patriotism, go to Iraq and Afghanistan to build stuff there. So these skills are transferable, and they keep you employed.
Well, one real quick question is, what if, you say this is a 4-year program, what if somebody started a program here and had to move to another state for whatever reason? Do they have to start all over again?
Not necessarily. We are part of a national organization, the NJATC, National Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee.
Okay.
And there are 275 apprenticeships throughout the country. And if they leave our apprenticeship, they can find another apprenticeship wherever they're going.
Oh, wow.
And they will apply and get accepted in that apprenticeship and pretty much pick up right where they left off.
Oh, that's excellent. That's great. Now, Dan, let's get into, I want to talk about the logistics of this program. We've kind of talked about the broad base of it. Let's get, what I'd like to go over is what the apprenticeship, the work, let's get right down to the nuts and bolts of what the program is from, beginning to the end of it.
Sure. Now, once somebody makes the decision that they want to be an electrical apprentice, they would come to our apprenticeship and they would fill out the application paperwork. After the application paperwork, they would be scheduled to take an aptitude test. And this test is much like the ASVAB, maybe that the military people are familiar with, or things of that nature.
Okay.
But it is basic math and reading at about a 10th grade level.
Okay.
Now, once they receive a qualifying score on that aptitude test, we schedule them for an interview. And they actually have to sit down with 6 people from our industry, and these 6 people ask them questions about their life experiences and how they handle situations and what they do in emergencies. And they judge those answers, and they will give them a score between 0 and 100.
Okay.
And that'll land these people on our ranking list.
Okay, sure.
Now, as our contractors call us, because we work with about 96 contractors throughout our jurisdiction, they will call us and say, we need an apprentice. And we will go down through our ranking list, and we will pick the top person off that ranking list, give them a call and say, we've got a job for you.
Okay.
Come down, fill out the rest of the paperwork, take your UA, because we are a drug-free workforce.
Okay.
And we will send them to work for the contractor. Now, at some point, and not necessarily right at the beginning, but at some point they're going to start their schooling. So let's say if a person were to start the apprenticeship now, they could get indentured now in June, and they would start school actually in January. However, between June and January, they're going to be working as an apprentice
Oh.
and making a paycheck.
Okay, good.
So they'll go to school for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, they're going to learn all this stuff I talked about, and they're going to make a wage at the same time. Now, the schooling is 2 nights a week, about 3 hours a night.
Okay.
Okay, so 6 hours a week in school, and you're going to have about 6 hours of homework, for the schooling
Okay.
every week. So it's a bit of a tough row to hoe. I mean, especially now, a lot of our apprentices are working overtime,
Oh, wow.
which young apprentices, they need the overtime because they need the money.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's
I
good
agree.
for them, but it
Yeah.
does add to their plate.
Right.
Now, again, I talked about the registration fee. We actually have 5 curriculum years that we condense into 4 years of schooling.
Okay.
So again, it's an accelerated course.
Okay.
Even tougher on them a little bit.
Sure.
So with each curriculum year comes a registration fee of $550.
Okay.
And that's it. And that pays for your school year.
Wow.
And I know $550 normally wouldn't buy you books
No.
for a semester in college.
Absolutely. You're right.
And the reason we can do this with our school is that the school itself is self-funded. Through our bargaining agreement with our contractors, 38 cents an hour is paid into the apprenticeship for every person that's working, every hour that's worked by any electrician in the local.
Okay.
And this pays for our apprenticeship.
Okay.
And that's why the apprentices themselves don't have to put out so much money out of their own pocket.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. We're going to take a short break
Sure.
right now. We're going to take a short break right now. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. We're now back. I'm speaking with Dan Hendricks, the training coordinator for the apprenticeship program for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 68, here in Denver, Colorado. Dan, you were talking about in the last segment about this is a tough program. I mean, people just aren't going to come in here, and sometimes people do wash out of the program. So if you had to say the profile of what would be the perfect person to come in to work in this apprenticeship program, what would that person be?
Tim, generally, our average apprentice is between, say, 18 and 38 years old.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they can't be older. We've had some apprentices come through at 50. We've had apprentices come through at 40, excuse me. And generally, though, 18 to 28 is where
Okay.
they start. And as far as a profile, our trade and our apprenticeship, as a reflection of that, is mostly male. Again, though, that doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
We've turned out some very good female journeymen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just recently we had a young lady turn out. She had been, I think, 15 years in the Army
Oh, okay.
beforehand. Got out, sought the apprenticeship, turned out, and she's a wonderful journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a wonder to work with. So an ideal person, I think, would be someone who expects to work. Okay. If you can get up every morning, lace your boots on, and arrive on the job site, you're going to be an ideal apprentice.
Okay.
It is a tough program. It's going to take math. It's going to take some reading skills. It's going to take some homework skills and studying for tests. I mean, we really put them through the ringer. So someone who can dedicate themselves, someone who can show that discipline, that's an ideal person. Now, we look for that college type of person, possibly the counselors in high school do, who would make a good college type person.
Sure.
And I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I have no idea what a college type person is.
Right.
Do you go to college to get your degree in medieval studies? I mean,
Good point.
so maybe you're that type of person, but our type of person is focused and dedicated to gaining a career.
Oh, okay. I see. That's it. That's very interesting. Now, this is a union apprenticeship program. Is that correct? The reason I ask that is why would someone want to go through the IBEW program than, say, some other program that they would still become an electrician?
Now, I've got to fall back to employability.
Okay.
And our training in all facets of the electrical field. Again, we're not going to train you just to install solar panels,
Okay.
or just to install a wind turbine. You'll learn those things in our program, but you're also going to get power distribution. You're going to learn about electrical vehicles.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to learn all facets of the field. That way, when you get out, you're employable no matter where you have to go.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Now, one question I had that when they graduate from this program, they are a journeyman electrician. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What's the difference between a journeyman and a master electrician? What would that be?
In the state of Colorado, the difference between a journeyman and a master electrician is about 2,000 hours of work as a supervisor,
Okay.
planning and layout.
All right.
Now, at the end of your 4-year apprenticeship, you have roughly 8,000 hours on the job.
Okay.
That allows you to test for your journeyman license in the state of Colorado. You work another 2,000 hours in planning and layout or in a supervisory type position, foreman, basically.
Sure.
Then you can take your master's license test. And at that point, you become a master electrician. And, I mean, a great thing, maybe you want to open up your own shop, be
Sure.
your own boss,
Right.
lose your own money.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
And with your master's license, you can do that.
Okay. Now, wanted to ask you real quickly that the reason about the master's program was in Europe that they look at the trades very much as professionals as we look at, say, doctors or lawyers or dentists. They have gone through, they have learned a trade, and they are the masters at that, and they're professionals. And I would like to see more of that here in the United States. Your thoughts on that, Dan?
When an apprentice completes this program, they'll have spent nearly 1,000 hours in the classroom. Now, a master electrician, as you say, is going to spend another 300 or 400 in the classroom,
Wow.
learning his trade.
Wow.
They're going to spend 8,000 hours or maybe 10,000 hours on the job learning the trade.
Sure.
They've put in as much time for this trade and their amount of knowledge as any doctor would, So absolutely, they're a professional.
Wow.
So I don't think it's really, I don't want to compare the two
Right, I
as
agree.
being one better than the other, but they are definitely equal. There's as much work and time and dedication in a master electrician or a journeyman electrician as you will find in a CEO or some mid-management personnel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's excellent. Dan, we've got about a minute left in the program. If people would like more information on this program or would like to contact you or whatever, how can they do that? Do you have a website or anything?
Absolutely. The best way to contact the apprenticeship and to learn more about it is to see our website at the djeatc68.com.
Great.
And that'll give them all the information they need.
Good, great. Well, thank you, Dan, for coming on today. This was very interesting. I learned a lot about the apprenticeship program, and it's definitely, you're very professional in the way you train your people.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I tell you what, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, mine too.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, goodbye. Joining me now is Jim Keating, member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 68 in Denver, Colorado. Welcome, Jim, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Tim, for having me.
Well, Jim, now the show is about the apprenticeship program here that the Local 68 puts on, and you went through a similar program to this. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I took a 4-year program. I put probably 3 years worth of applications in. I started in 1974 with applications. At that time, they were taking very few applicants. And I finally got in the program in 1978 and graduated in 1982. And with an electrician's license, a journeyman's license, and it's taken me quite far.
Wow, excellent. So how far can a program like this take someone? I mean, you start out, you came out of high school, not really sure what you want to do, so you went into this, and this has given your family a good life and everything. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I'll tell you a little story. My brother is a doctor, and for years he was paying off 12 years of medical student loans. And for years I made more money than he did because I earned what I learned in the apprenticeship program. You know, the rest is history. Nowadays he can buy and sell me,
Sure.
I mean, for the amount of money he makes. But for all those years, I made a lot more money, a comfortable living. I educated both my children through one of the local universities here, and sent them through college debt-free.
Wow. So this, and you're also, as you get towards the end of your career, it's going to give you a good pension type of thing for you and your family.
Absolutely. You know, when I retire, probably in 2 more years, and that'll put me way over retirement, I'll probably get a raise over what I'm making right now. I mean, we have a pension, an annuity, 401k, or annuity, whatever you want to call it. We have 3 pensions, an international pension, an 8th district pension, and the NEBF pension. So, plus that doesn't even count Social Security, if that's still around when we get there.
Sure,
I hope it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just real quickly, though, I mean, you know, this is not a program you just come into. I mean, you have to work at it. You worked at this program to get to where you are today. So you still have to, you know, show up and go to work.
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, it takes some commitment. When I got in the program, I was making $4.09. I remember that vividly. I had 2 children and a young wife and a house payment. I worked 2 jobs just to keep my feet above water, head above water there, and then I was a welder before I got in the trade, and I thought an electrician come to our shop one day and hooked up something. I said, boy, that looks like an interesting trade. I said, how do I get into that? And he gave me the number of the apprenticeship, and the rest is history.
So you, to maybe some recent graduate that is looking at college but doesn't have quite the money, you know, has always been kind of into the trades, or, you know, has something like that, would you recommend something like this?
Absolutely. The Europeans do it all the time. I mean, if somebody's not fit for professional, I mean, maybe the technical aspect is their cup of tea. And you know, my brothers and sisters are all professional people. They're doctors or nurses, and that's fine for them. But you know, myself, I wanted to be in the trades, and I knew that all along. And I was educated in a college prep school, and I thought, well, geez, you know, I'm wasting my time here. I'd like to work with my hands and work out in the field, and that's what I've done all these years.
Great, great. Well, thank you, Jim, for coming on today and explaining your experience with us.
You're very welcome. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.